Hello, and thank you for taking a look at the new POI loader application for Android. When you first install this application, of course, there are no files, so you have no file here. You get this little spinner drop down. You can change the map type. And then, of course, you have Files icon and Settings. I'm going to go ahead and go to Files. Since there are no files existing, it gives you an option to create a new file. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. In this files list, it gives you the file name, the number of points of interest in that file, and the date stamp. You can create more files just by clicking on the plus sign here. I'm going to make a demo the active file by tapping it. This brings me back to the map view. We get two additional buttons up here now. We get the Find POI button, which will look in the view and find any points of interest. Of course, this file has none in it. And then we have the menu drop down. And this gives us a list of all of our actions. We can go back to Files. We can go to a POI list view, which will list all the points of interest out and then allow you to tap on them to show them on the map, or you can also search through them and filter down the list. You can add a point of interest by selecting this action item and tapping on the map to add one, or you can select this action item to add a point of interest based off your GPS location. You can go to Settings and then, of course, Clear Map. So I'm going to add one based off my GPS location. So there we are. Now if I tap on the info window, it gives us all the information about that POI. I could navigate to that point of interest by tapping on this navigate icon and use Google Maps or another third-party application for navigation. And Settings we'll see later where we can actually enable Waze as the default navigation application to use. We can click on here to edit or the trash can to delete. So I'm going to click on the pencil to edit. We can change the name of the point of interest. I'm going to go ahead and change the name. And I'll delete some text on the snippet. You can also change the icon, so I'm going to change it to purple paddle with a circle. If I click on the save icon up here, it'll save it. Of course, all that information has changed. If I go back to the map view, then the info window information has changed and the icon has changed. We can go to the POI list view to see our one point of interest in the list. And anything in this list, if you tap it, it will take you back to the map view and show you that. So if you already have CSV files for your point of interest and you'd like to import them, like I've got some here on my SD card, I'm going to open up this McDonald's one. And this new version of POI Loader is database driven, so it no longer reads them from the SD card but actually imports the files into a database. So once you select it, it'll ask you for the file name. So I'm going to change it to just McDonald's, click OK, and then the default icon, if none is specified, I'm going to make it a red M for McDonald's. If there's 4 columns into the CSV file, you have the longitude, then the latitude, the name, and then the 4th column is the snippet or the information about that POI. If you choose, I'll give a list of all the different icon names that you can put in a 5th column if you wish, to go ahead and make those defaultly selected when you import them. So I'm going to leave it here. This file has just a little over 15,155 points of interest, and that's now imported. So of course demo is still the active file, so I'm going to click on the drop down menu here and go to Files, and here we should now show both McDonald's and the demo file. and McDonald's has just over 15,000 points of interest. So I'm going to select McDonald's and make it the active file. It brings me back to the map view and clears off all the points of interest from the other file. If I go to the drop down menu here, we can go to the POI list, and since there's over 15,000, it will prompt you to do a search to start narrowing down that list. So I'm going to type in OH, and it searches through the names of the points of interest and returns everything with OH in it. Since I want to find Ohio, I'm going to do comma OH for Ohio, and now you can see it returns all the points of interest with comma OH. So I got 641 in the view. If I tap on any one of these, it'll take me to that point of interest and put it on the map. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out, and if I tap on this icon right here, it'll find all the points of interest in my view. And of course it says there are too many to please zoom in, which will narrow our view down. Alternatively, I can go to the drop down menu here, go back to settings, or into settings for the first time, and change the number of allowed to return in the view. I'm going to change it to about 4,500, and the max allowed on screen, change it to just over 3,000. And here we talked about before, you can check this box to use Waze for navigation or turn on the traffic layer if you wish. You can also change the default icon used. We'll go back to the map view and try to search again by tapping this icon here. Still too many, so I'm going to zoom in just a little bit and try again. So 3,333 were found in the view, and it'll map them all. So there they all are. I'll zoom out, and I can clear the map. If we wanted to add points of interest to this file, that is possible, just like we showed you before, by either adding them from your GPS location, or if you select this action item right here, and now anywhere I tap on the map, it'll add a point of interest and zoom into it. So that's pretty much it for POI Loader. There is a light version which just limits the number of points of interest that are allowed to return in the view. So here in settings, allowed to return in the view is a maximum of 100, and the maximum allowed on screen is 200, where the full version is 10,000 for both. And then under files, the maximum number of files allowed in the light version is 10, where with the full version it is unlimited. So thank you for taking a look at POI Loader.